Welcome to the Oklahoma Venture Forum podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Miller, founder of My Marketing Assistant. Joining me today is Ben Schons of Deacon Tech, who will be at our luncheon on November 12th to pitch. So thank you for joining me today, Ben.
You're welcome.
Tell me a little bit about Deacon Tech.
So Deacon Tech, we are manufacturing graphene, and it is a raw material. We are looking to apply it to a lot of different industries, such as batteries and concrete. We can put it on coatings. They can use it in aerospace and quite a few different things.
Okay, how can there be a singular material that can be in all these different industries?
Well, graphene is a single carbon layer material. It's a super material, and it actually is 5 times more conductive than copper and 200 times stronger than steel. So by placing it in concrete, you're going to expand the longevity and corrosiveness of it by about 25%. It's also going to stop it from heaving up and the roads from buckling, so more flexibility. And with batteries, it's going to increase the charge time and the longevity of your battery. So instead of lasting 2 to 3 years like at O'Reilly's, it's going to last 5 to 10.
And how did you get into this, find graphene in these solutions?
Well, I'm a horticulturalist by trade and everything, growing everything from vegetables and all that, to got into hemp about 2000 with the in-laws in Missouri, and the bottom dropped out of the market, CBD, and we were looking online and saw they were making hempcrete and other things with hemp fibers. So we looked more into that and saw someone in Europe, Robert Murray Smith, is amazing. He's doing all kinds of things on YouTube teaching people, but he's talking 200 different ways to make graphene. And at that point, I start realizing what it is, and it was discovered in 2004 as a super material. So now they're putting in everything, like I said, from batteries to concrete to coatings for planes. It's reducing the drag. Mentor I met through the program G-Beta, actually, down in Texas, Rob, he said that he had it on his car, and it actually helps with chips and everything on the paint. With graphene dispersing heat quite a bit, your car doesn't get the hot spots and everything like in the Oklahoma sun, the Texas sun. So, your paint is going to last 10 to 15 years longer and not have those big spots. Going down a gravel road, you're not going to get the chips. It's almost too good to be true of a material. I mean, it's just almost every industry it can be placed in. And when it comes down to it, it's carbon at the purest form. So with hemp taking out quite a bit of carbon of the air, what he did was he broke that down, and it basically was this single layer carbon, looks like black powder, and found that you can add it to everything. So like concrete, add it to concrete, your concrete's going to dry in almost half the time and be more durable. So you get back on the road faster. You'll also use 25% less concrete in your jobs. So a lot less manpower, a lot less trucking in, a lot less material bills.
Mm-hmm. And how are you adding it to these things? So if you have, you're talking to a big company and they're a concrete company, and you go to them and talk to them about this, what does that look like?
So we are actually planning on talking to a big company in the state of Oklahoma.
Look at that. See?
Yeah, we're very excited about that. Very excited. And what we would do is we would make our graphene powder, and then another additive. We would put that basically in a bag and then go to a distributor, someone who's making concrete, mixing it and turning it, and we would bring that to them where they could add that in, make their mix, and at that point they could either sell in bulk like you get, from wherever on a truckload, or go to Home Depot, Lowe's, and stuff like that to sell your 50, 60 pound bag, or a homeowner can use. The advantage of that is if you're building, a 4x4 little patio, you probably don't have to use rebar because of the graphene is so strong. Wow. And again, you're using 25% less on each project.
That's
so saving you quite a bit.
Absolutely. Have you used this in any projects recently?
Yes, we've used it in small little projects just for testing. We're actually going to be running another test. We're looking at working with University of Oklahoma and Arkansas to verify our graphene. And then we will be working with a few other institutions to really sure up the testing on the graphene on the concrete side.
That's fantastic. I mean, you mentioned all of these partnerships. So are you pretty involved in the Oklahoma ecosystem?
Yes, very much. We have been accepted and finished 2 programs here. The G-Beta program through Generator here in Oklahoma City. Really love the program. Great people. It's actually where we met. thankful for that.
Yeah.
And then I2E, Rick Rainey, Tito, Marla, they're great people. Really suggest if anybody's out there looking to start a business, especially in Oklahoma, look into either of those programs. Not just from trying to figure out, but just from what you get from the whole program. It's not just business relationships and work. It's a lot of personal meetings that you don't know where it's going to go. And you could have somebody where, 3 months down the road and you're on a podcast or talking to somebody else where, hey, someone in Texas, hey, did you know they're spraying that on cars? $15,000 for that coat. And it's, wow, that's another industry. That's coatings. We're doing batteries. So through G-Beta, we've talked to Honda about the battery. So just the connections are invaluable. You would have to pay, realistically paying mentors off the street, or not off the street, but their businesses don't want to get them off the street.
Probably that too.
They're going to charge you. If you go into anybody and, hey, I'm so-and-so, would you like to mentor me or consult me? They're going to charge you. And I understand that it's business, but to go through these programs and get it free is just, you can't pay for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we talked, it was a battery focus then.
Yes.
And so it's really interesting to hear about the concrete now too, and how you're implementing that. But tell our listeners about the battery piece. We met with Honda. That's a pretty big deal.
Yes. So our first project was a 12 volt car battery that you'd switch out, instead of every 2 to 3 years, like I said, 5 to 10. You go to O'Reilly, and the problem was, it doesn't matter how superior or better our battery was. If you're going to O'Reilly and you're like, wow, this lasts 3 times longer, but it's $1,500, and you're spending $200, you're not budgeting for that. I can't afford that. Most people can't. It just doesn't make sense. So the problem with graphene was it was so high priced because a lot of the times they're mining it. Like I said earlier about the hemp, we found a way to convert ag waste, electronic waste. The other day, we actually verified cardboard. We're looking at corn and soy, different ag crops. A few other different tires in the future, but we'll be able to actually recycle all those and turn them into where it's just the carbon source, the graphene, and then like with your electronics, we'll be able to separate your precious metals.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So how are you finding out all of these things? Like you said, you're a horticulturist, I guess,
yes,
by nature. So that's really what's driving some of this interest, I guess, huh?
Yes. I went to Puerto Rico in 2015, and when I came back, I learned scaling in Puerto Rico. I went from a small system in my dad's kitchen to 10,000 plants, 8,000 square foot greenhouse, 2,500 Blue Nile tilapia with 72 Wendy's and Denny's on the island purchasing from us. Mm-hmm. So I have the scalability, and now coming back, we're really looking to get this graphene off the ground.
Yeah. So what are the next big things for you? Just talking about like fourth quarter this year and first quarter of next year.
Right now, we've been going through quite a few investor swarms and looking at investors, and got a few decent ones on the hook that we're looking to talk to. Hopefully, by the end of the year, secure that. So then the first of the year, we've been looking at some incubator spaces. Actually, we're looking to get into one at Rose State when they open up the first of the year with Ethan Biller.
Yeah.
Really great guy.
Yeah.
So looking to do that. Ideally, into this year, we get the funding. First of next year, we're able to scale up. Currently, we have about a $15 million domestic potential sales pipeline of just graphene powder. That's not counting selling to a big company in Oklahoma, the concrete packages, the batteries in the future, stuff like that. So get started with the graphene and then move our way up to products.
Yeah. So right now it's really an investor push. Like you're looking for people that want to come alongside you.
Yes. And that's the hardest thing. It's like these programs have taught me, it's not about accepting someone's money. It's about accepting them as well, because if you two do not get along, you could be in it for the long haul. And if you don't get along, everybody knows how that is with people. Family, friends, whatever, you just don't want to go to work that day. It just makes everything miserable. And so we're doing our due diligence. As I said, I2E and G-Beta have been just amazing. Anytime we have question anything, hey, what about them? Okay, look out for this, blah, 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 blah. But we really feel like by the end of the year, we'll lock down one and be able to scale up. And once we scale up, like I said, we can start at least selling graphene to capture that market.
Well, with the market size, like you said, if your sales pipeline's 15 million, I'm sure people are interested.
Yes, we have quite a few people interested. The problem is It's a raw material. It's not software, AI. So there's a lot especially when people hear manufacturing, it's, it's going to cost me so much money.
Right.
What's my return and when is it going to be? And that's the beauty with us is we can make graphene right now on this tabletop in small doses. So with my team, and that's the beauty, is everyone's like, oh, your team, you're a horticulturalist. Well, I brought aboard Jesse Matlock, who is just a genius. I love this guy. I mean, I love him to death. He works at the National Weather Service. He used to work at Tinker, the FAA. So, high electricity. They're calling from Mississippi around the United States. Hey, our radar's out. He's the technician taking care of them. So when we're dealing with, 6,000 volts, whatever it is, okay, I got this. It's just confidence levels to the roof. I have another one, Tyler Fleming, who works with the water biz, and he goes around the nation and does water filtration. He codes, sets up systems, stuff like that. So they come over, we're all working full-time jobs, 5 to 9 at night, basically every week, or every day of the week. They come over and everyone's like, is your team full-time? No, we got full-time jobs, and then we're doing this. So we, family, you have to pay for them. So until we get the funding, and then we brought aboard, and I just got, I'll be honest, completely lucky about 2 months ago at the end of the G-Beta program. Old colleague says, get on the phone at 3:00. I get on the phone and 2 guys are talking about DARPA loans and stuff. And one guy goes, oh, you're the guy with the battery. I said, yeah. I said, who are you? He goes, well, I'm Mark Banish. And by the end of the conversation, he is telling me that he is a PhD chemist from Princeton who is a carbon nanomaterial expert. And I looked him up, and I say he's number 1. We can say up to number 3. But we literally got back from a speech in San Sebastian, Spain. He's doing another one in Wales or something the next week. And so I emailed him after that. And I said, hey, I would love for you to be on my advisory board. Full transparency, I am no money. Whatever I get, me and my guys from our paychecks, $20, $30, $40, because we're building everything from $5, $10 parts. We haven't ordered in one single machine. Everything is custom built. And that's what gives us the confidence to scale is we know what we're doing, small scale. So Why not just size it up? And he literally told me, I said, hey, here's where I'm at with my funds. And he said, don't worry about anything. He goes, you use my name, whatever you need to. And whatever you need, you give me a call. He goes, when you start scaling up, we'll talk about, other things, which was just a great relief because now like Mark, I2E, they're telling me, mention him in your pitch deck. Because again, I'm a horticulturalist telling, hey, I got 15 million in the sales pipeline. And it's just reality. I mean, you have to have credentials, you have to have backing. So after putting this team together, we don't get any of that anymore. And I said, Mark can answer any question. He knows everybody around. And then the problem with funding, I might not talk about grants.
Yeah, please.
Grants real quick.
Yeah.
So a lot of people talk about grants. Our problem was we were so focused on hemp being our source crop that it really gave red flags. Even though hemp's legal and it is what it is, it's at the federal level. They don't want that in their grants and stuff like that. So since then, we met some people in Indiana and they're like, hey, corn and soy, can you do that? Hey, we fired that up. It worked. Okay, now we're doing cardboard. We're doing plastic. So we're pushing the hemp to the side. That's a back burner. We don't even need that if we don't need to. We did it originally because Oklahoma, THC you have to pay to get rid of. So we would initially got paid for our source crop. But if there's too many red flags, you got to do what you got to do. So the grants have been really hard for us right now. And then also with it being a raw material. Most people don't, there's not a grant for, like with the Army, we want a battery or this. And it's like, yeah, we were doing the battery, but it takes so much more. When if we just had this, we could get chicken before the egg.
Yeah, and I think it's probably hard for normal people, right? Yeah. Like to understand raw material and like what that means and how you're creating that and how you're using it.
Okay, so a raw material would be, anything that you buy in that's almost powder form, like flour, anything like that. Almost hard to explain.
I know, right? It is. That's probably what makes grant writing hard for something like
it really does.
Yeah,
and because a lot of them are about it. Basically, like your stuff to make your first product. So, like with steel and everything, you get iron ore, get carbon, stuff like that. They make it. So we'd be getting plant fiber, e-waste, and that's something we want to do is eventually set up in Oklahoma City where you bring either discarded, if you have a small little farm, you don't have anywhere to put it, you bring your stuff to compost. You can bring your electronic waste, your plastic bottles, your car tires. And that's the thing, you have to pay to get rid of your car tires. We could recycle that, get the graphene out of it, other materials, and even reclaim your steel from your tires. And earlier when you said, how did I get into this? I can't help but just stay online. Just looking at all this, I get down the rabbit hole, but then I go back and I double check everything because I hate getting down a rabbit hole and be like, oh, was any of that true?
Right.
It's like, what did I just see? So I try to check that, and then I'm a big fan of ChatGPT and AI. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I've probably put in realistically 1 million hours on it in the last. I started using it a month after it came on board, so I can get it to do any trick I want. I mean, it's AI. What they said was one person who has an idea can start $1 billion company. And it's just when you're starting a company, I mean,
right.
You have to have so many people do so many things. And it's like, God, if I can get that one email done, it looks like that, or, get this business plan updated with just a few strokes of the fingers. I mean, it's really nice and it clears your mind. And I get it. There's a lot of bad out there. Like I had to get off Facebook because every other ad is, did you know this? And I'm like, that's not even close to true.
Right.
So I'm on LinkedIn. That's it. But yeah.
That's good. No, I think that's really interesting though, because like even with you as a founder of Deacon Tech, like you've mentioned, you've done this sort of thing before, and so I think that has to be really interesting to investors too. Is like not just a sales pipeline, but you've successfully scaled businesses.
Yes, yeah, they really like that. And recently I was in the Oklahoma Farm and Gardening magazine last April. My whole story from Puerto Rico all the way to here. And we shut down and grow with a friend to focus more on this. And we were selling to the Oklahoma City Zoo. In 500 square feet, we were producing over 3,000 pounds of produce and 2,000 pounds of fish a year. But, and I'm not against AI or software, but it just seems like the money's going that way. So 10 years ago, if I'm telling somebody, hey, I got an indoor grow, 500 square feet, I'm producing, 100,000 a year off that. 70% margins. We were spending $10 a month to feed our fish, and that's all that was the waste for 3,000 pounds. My daughter loved it. We get to go back there and feed the giraffes and everything, and bring them just tons of lettuce. So I want to do that eventually. That's something that's my passion. It's growing for people, clean food. But sadly, just doesn't seem like the money's there right now. So
yeah, but I mean, through that journey, you were able to find this graphene thing. And I can't wrap my brain around that. It's like you said, found in 2004.
2004. So, and that's another thing with the industry being so new. Like I was talking about the battery being so expensive, we had to learn to scale it ourselves because you can't buy a $1,500 battery. It does us no good to make all these batteries. So we've scaled graphene to the point where it's going to be $200 to $250. Same price as the other one, but it's going to be superior. We're not trying to, get it out of the price range of people realistically. We're trying to drop the price of the graphene. Graphene, we've had other people tell us prices because we looked to buy it at first, $400,000 to $750,000 a ton. So it's one of the most expensive materials in the world.
Wow. And you're going to try to bring that cost down, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah.
I won't mention the company, but they were a company in the U.S. and they're like, oh, here's my sales plan, what you break down on what bulk. Well, they accidentally put their executive summary that says we make it for this. And I said, well, if you're making it for that, I want this. Oh, no. What I meant was if we sell it at this much, we can sell it for that. I said, but you're telling me you're making it for that. That means you could sell it for this, but you want more money, right? So it's one of those things, if I have something that's $100,000 and someone else comes up with the same thing, you think they're going to be like, I'm going to give it to you $50. They're going to stay above. And we're being verified through OU, so we haven't had anybody say, hey, what's your verification? No, we bring that up, but no one's ever said, what's your price? We haven't had any debate on that. They all, okay, send us a sample. Let us know when you send it. We'll test everything. If it matches up, we'll go with you. Really neat. We were in talks with a company overseas that does heat mats. So under your carpet or your tile, you put these graphene heat mats, and it's supposed to be a few $100s a year that heats your house, but also during the hot summer, the graphene actually pulls the heat from your house into the concrete.
Interesting.
Yes, it's graphene. And the more affordable you get, it's just like everything. There'll be more products. You'll see it in water filtration. You'll see it in car paints, house paints. It actually can work as a HEPA filter because of the carbon.
Yeah, and then but your focus right now is going to be the concrete and the batteries.
Yes.
Yeah, and so if somebody, let's say someone's listening today and they're like, "Oh, I am doing a little backyard project, or I'm working on something," can they reach out and get a sample, or what does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. Go on our website, deacontech.net, and go in there to the contact page, and they'll be able to fill it out, and they'll send us an email. And any help you need from me, any questions, anything, I'm willing to help. And
that's cool.
Love it.
Right? Like, so because you mentioned like several people asking for things. I was like, wow, what if somebody's listening and wants to try it out? Yeah. And I guess that goes for big companies too.
Yes, for sure. For sure. We're actually making samples for a concrete company in Oklahoma. I have a meeting with them tomorrow morning, and then next week we'll come back out and bring them samples. Awesome. And we'll be working on a patent for that as well. Oh,
okay. So what's the patent process look like for something that's a raw material?
Raw material, it'll be basically the mixture. So what we're supplying to the company plus their concrete, we'll add that, and it'll be the combined mixture, and it'll be in the dry form. We're not going to have anything that you have to do at your house, but you come buy the bag or the truck comes to your house, it's already mixed. So you're just, adding your water or whatever, and you're done. But we're working with OCU, the legal department. Yeah. Great service, and hoping to get those taken care of pretty soon, and pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. So we've talked about some of your short-term goals. What are your long-term goals? Like, where do you see Deacon Tech being in 5 years or 10 years?
Ideally, in about 5 years, we would like to be, the main thing is we'd like to stay here in Oklahoma. That's just, we really want to do that. We have the support of Lieutenant Governor office. State Commerce has talked to us about manufacturing, helping with Project Replenish, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We would like to be manufacturing, supplying quite a few high-paying jobs and everything in Oklahoma. We'd like to have a graphene manufacturing facility, as well as a few different manufacturing facilities and a few labs. Like with the team I have, we want to get into not just the batteries, but solar panels. We've looked at 3D printed houses, and we're actually in talks with Army Engineer Corps to supply them with graphene as well. So their dams, their bridges, they would use concrete. The barracks they're now using, it's concrete based, and they're even 3D printing them. So add that to it, it speeds up everything. It's almost seems like a material that's too good to be true. And when you see the price, it's like, oh, I understand. So by bringing that down, it's really going to change the game and allow so many things, like your Brita water filter. Instead of throwing that away every 3 to 4 months, this will be 9 months, and it'll take out everything. I mean, we could stack it enough, put enough disc in there where it would strip your water to the point you got to put minerals back in it. Yeah,
that's fascinating.
So it's just really, really neat, and just the applications that it can be used in different industries are just almost mind-blowing.
Yeah, you've mentioned Oklahoma a lot. So what is it about Oklahoma that keeps you here?
I've been to Puerto Rico, Texas, Missouri, like living there. Been all over. My wife has too, and it's just the crossroads of America. The people here, they're really nice and easy to get along with. The egos aren't as bad as other places. You can work with a room full of people who you think are geniuses, and none of them are going to mention it one time. They're never going to tell you about how smart they are or anything like that. It just seems like the ease of business. And then, of course, like I said, the crossroads. I can ship anywhere from out of Oklahoma. I can ship down to Texas to the ports, to Mexico. I can ship out west to California. I can ship north, anywhere. I can go north to Ohio, Canada, Detroit, East Coast. And that would be that's where we want to focus out of. I'm not opposed to, going somewhere else. We've talked with Indiana, about possibly going up there, but it's just having this and be able to deliver it. And then the companies we've been talking to domestically that are interested, the first thing they say is, oh, if you're in the States, we would love to be, supporting you because the tariffs and just export taxes. One just happens to be in Chicago and the other one's in Houston. So we're basically right between them. And then the weather. The weather's, it gets real bad. It gets real hot, but the majority of the time it's great. The price of land, the price of business is very cheap here. There's a lot of people. Where I'm at in Norman, they were telling me they're trying to sell me on something like to work in the city, but it was like 40-something% of the people there have bachelor degrees. So it's a very educated workforce. And I just think we need something like this in Oklahoma. We want to bring automation. We'll be building all the automated tools, coding everything for our facility ourselves. So have people we want to bring higher paying jobs as well.
I love that. I mean, that's a good thing to get behind, right? I'm sure that like our listeners, from especially being so OVF and Oklahoma focused, can really get behind that too. Okay, so let's pretend like we're talking to somebody in a few years that are in your shoes. What's the advice that you would like to give them?
First, don't give up. It's going to be super hard. I've probably been through close to 100 investors in the last few years since I've started, realistically. Don't listen to friends of friends. I'm sorry, unless they're just someone that you just highly respect, but everyone's going to tell you that they have an investor and they know somebody, and none of those people are ever going to turn out, ever, not one of them. Go to a business program like I2E or G Beta, find them, and really, really try. It's going to be the best thing. Like I said, that's how we met. I've met so many mentors, so many people. And that's, like you said, we talked about batteries at first. Within a few weeks, Kyle, I think he's going to be my presenter. Yeah. He said, well, the problem is, what's the problem here? And my wife goes, I don't get it. And he goes, well, you're telling me that you make something that's high price for lower. You make it more efficient, you're more profitable, and it's a lower source. He goes, there's your answer. And 4 or 5 people after that said that, and got me thinking, okay. And Kristen, my mentor from G Beta, says, well, you need to call and do your customer discovery. Well, I called 10 places and 6 of them were telling me, 15 million domestic. I got 30 globally in projected sales. And she starts laughing and goes, oh, I wish everybody did this. And now I'm, getting the cart before the horse. And it's like, oh, now I gotta produce. So super excited, and just make sure you do your due diligence on who you're getting money from too. Because let's say one of those friends of a friend turns out, do you want to work with that person? Because you're going to be dealing with that person for the longevity of your business. And if not, there's probably going to be something worse, because that means you probably shut it down or they're mad at you. And it's just, you don't want to get into that. Luckily, we've had great investors and looking to stick to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Very much looking forward to hearing you pitch at the November 12th event at Innovation Hall. And if any of our listeners want to learn more, everything can be found at deacontech.net. It's DEACON tech.net, and you can contact Ben that way or on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And we will see you November 12th at Innovation Hall for our next Oklahoma Venture Forum luncheon.
Thank you.